there's a great old saying, life doesn't happen to you, it happens for you. So you can rail against the universe and, play the victim card, or you can just take a beat and go, okay, I know who I am. I know what I'm capable of.
Is there any part of you that you compromised, maybe even momentarily or temporarily, that you wish you hadn't?
No. That's the great thing about life is you can't regret anything. If I won an NAACP award, this is what I was going to say. I was going to say, now that's white privilege. By the way, that's going to be the only thing that coming up next is just me going, forget about the black people. Actor Jeremy Piven has once again
he
completely
joins us
lost. Had a complete racist meltdown. So is your mom just going to stare at me during this interview? Yeah, no, this is exactly what I was hoping for. Oh, no.
You want to send my mom to the corner?
No, I mean, this is what I had
dreamed of.
I'm peaking right now. This is great.
I don't know if there's a better introduction than that, but you know him as a Golden Globe winner, actor, stand-up. You might know him best for his role as Dr. Bob, the shirtless doctor opposite Robert De Niro, obviously in the movie Heat, 1995 classic.
Yeah.
Also Ari Gold and Entourage and whatnot. But Jeremy Piven, man, welcome to the show.
Thank you, man. It's good to be here.
Yeah, I'm so excited because I saw you do your stand-up set when you came through Chicago. I think it was about just under a year ago. And I was so excited, obviously not because I'm a fan of Entourage, which I am, but also just seeing someone that's not only translating acting and stage performance to stand-up, but also doing the work to kind of start from scratch as a stand-up too. And seeing, I've seen a lot of the stories where you've talked about how much you studied the craft from the beginning. You didn't just enter as someone with the name recognition either. You put in time, you put in the work.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting you say starting from scratch. And, if I was an athlete transitioning into stand-up or any other job, it would be exactly what you just said, from scratch. But I crawled up on stage in Evanston at 8 years old at the Piven Theater.
Yeah.
And so I've been on stage for half a century.
Sure.
So I don't know if that's scratch. I would say probably I've spent my entire life on stage.
Yeah, no, I meant more in terms of...
But what I'm saying is that all roads 1,000% lead to stand-up.
Sure.
And everything I've ever done informs the stand-up, from down the street at Second City, sketch comedy, and performing and rewriting and pitching jokes on every show I've ever done. So for me, it's, to the outsider, it's a bit unorthodox, but to me, it makes total sense. And I've been touring now for about 8 years and a couple hundred shows a year. So just logging those hours, and you saw me get up and do stand-up. So, it's my job to make people laugh for an hour and have them, get to their feet at the very end. And that's all I know.
Is there anything that when you were starting, I meant studious, in going and putting the reps in, right? Because you can't just jump up and do a set. Right, you can, but it's without trialing and erring and finding yourself in a position where it's like, oh, that joke or that word combination works a little bit better than something else. Do you find you drawing from a different point of your training? Specifically, was it the Piven Theater? Was it Second City? Was it working on Larry Sanders or wherever it may be in your career that it's like that's a portion?
It's just everything that you do in life kind of informs you as a creative. See, this is what I was hoping we wouldn't be doing. I'm just explaining.
Oh, okay.
No, it's all good. It's all good. It's all good. I forgive me. I feel like I'm being really boring right now. I feel like what I'm doing is explaining why I'm funny and dissecting what I think could be used if someone had trouble sleeping. They could, you know what I mean? Let's listen to Jeremy talk about what he, why he's funny. And listen, I just don't want to sound like a boring guy. I mean, again, I can't tell you. I mean, you guys saw the set, so you can tell me, because the reality is, you have a reference for me for movies and TV, whatever, And then you go, well, I don't know if the guy can do stand-up.
Yeah.
And then you go and watch it, and your thought was?
My thought was, that's someone who studied the craft. That's what I meant, you know?
Yeah, because I would rather talk about the reality of what you saw,
sure,
as opposed to me going, this is what I do. So, and forgive me, people when they see me do stand-up, because this to me almost takes away from the stand-up. Like, the response I get is, we didn't know you were this funny.
Yeah.
Which is amazing to me. It's a great backhand compliment. And after all I've done, and which I love, and it looks like you've been doing stand-up your whole life. And that's what I'm looking for, even though on paper that's not necessarily the case. All that matters is I hit that stage, and I just give them bombs. Not bomb. Hopefully I'm not bombing. Hopefully I'm not bombing. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But just, you know, the bangers one after the next, and then craft that set and crush it. No one needs to know exactly how long I've been doing it. And by the way, stand-up is the only art form where people are like, how long have you been doing it? Okay.
Not enough time.
Because when anyone comes to me on a set, I don't ever go, how long have you been acting? It's none of my business.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean? Like, if this is your first time on set, like Common, the rapper from Chicago, the hip hop star,
yep,
his first acting role was playing opposite me, and we both had the lead in Smoking Aces. It's my job to take him under my wing and figure out a way to make him feel comfortable and answer any question and help him to be the best version of himself on set and to keep evolving. And I think we did it, and he was brilliant, and he's off to the races and incredibly prolific, won an Oscar and all these things. But I don't look at him and go, wow, you've never done this before. I don't know, man. But in stand-up, they do that, and I get it.
Mm-hmm.
I get why they do it, because it's incredibly difficult, and people have busted their ass their whole lives, like I've done as an actor and now as a stand-up. But I don't like judging anyone no matter what, because I think we're all interesting and we all have something to contribute.
Well, you're going to be your own harshest critic too. You know, when you study any craft, what was a moment that during stand-up you went, oh, I got it now. This is what I want to continue to do, not just hop on stage at the Improv or Laugh Factory or whatever it may be, and I want to go film a special in my hometown, Chicago.
I don't know if there was an exact moment, but I just know that I'm always just trying to get better and find different ways to solve problems and progress from one set to the next. Mm-hmm. And so listen, again, if I'm making them laugh for an hour and I know I'm getting better every time, it's only a matter of time before I do a special. And yeah, to be honest with you, I'll be totally honest with you. Press became so excruciating.
Sure.
In terms of like, so what can we expect from you Friday night at the Improv? What can you expect? Well, how about some jokes?
Yeah.
I'm not going to come out and do pottery. I'm not going to come out naked and light myself on fire. You know what I mean? Like, so like having to explain myself, what can you expect? Well, what kind of humor? So it's like, oh shit, no one knows I do stand up. And so for me to have to explain, well, I do observational humor, I do impersonations, I do that. And like anytime you're explaining a joke, it ain't going well.
Right.
It's not going to work for you. So it's been excruciating. And so I went, look, here, the only way to solve this is to document my set and do a special. So I go, here's what I do, so that I can come here and go, oh shit, man, that bit you did about, oh man, running lines with your mom, that was fucking great. Yeah. So that people, oh shit, yeah, he does stand up. So to be totally honest with you, after, 200, 250 shows a year and a decade on the road, it's time.
It's time. It's time for a special, which you are filming at the Vic, an iconic spot, not just for as a venue in Chicago, but also for stand-ups in general. Several specials have been filmed there. Most recently, Seth Meyers filmed his special there. As you prepare for a special, I mean, obviously you've done, so, like as you've said, so many hours putting in the work for this. But I mean, why Chicago? That might be a dumb question, but you could film it virtually anywhere.
There was never a question that it wouldn't be Chicago.
Okay.
It always was going to be coming home. And just because I don't think Chicago even realizes how unique they are in terms of they truly support actors and artists and musicians. You can be in a 99-seat house, blocks theater, and they're going to show up for you. So we as performers get our reps in. My whole life, I've always performed in front of an audience, and that's rare.
Yeah,
that's just rare. So why are people like, wow, oh, you're from Chicago and you get love and respect as an actor? Because the reality is because we get so many reps, because people show up for us here. It's a part of our culture. So for me to grow up in the work in this town and not give back and not film my special here would be ridiculous. So and also my mom passed away a couple months ago.
I'm sorry about that.
Thanks, man. So I get to honor her and get up on stage and talk about what it was like, when I played Ari Gold to run all of my lines with her. And people are like, man, you played that character to your mom's face. And it's like, I did. And it was incredible. And she never judged me because she's an artist and she was my teacher from the time I was a child. And so she knows, okay, this is a fictional character and I'm going to say some incredibly vulgar things. And she never batted an eye because she's watching, a work of fiction.
Sure.
And she's done the great literature and played all different types of characters and, played opposite characters that were tyrants or whatever. So she understands intrinsically. There's a funny story I told about her at her funeral, which is kind of surreal that I told a funny story, but I was sobbing so much. I was like, I got to mix it up with some laughs.
Yeah.
So, which I was really happy for stand-up that it came into play at that moment because it allowed me to breathe during the funeral. But she and I unpack all this on stage, what it's like to actually say, the most offensive stuff. Lloyd, if you had so much squirted in your eyes that you can't see what's right in front of your face, there better be a Scud missile heading towards us, Yoko, or I will choke you out with a
eye contact.
Yeah. So, I need you to commit more to this. What'd you say, Mom? You know what I mean? So it's, it's insane. And so the last work we did together was a movie called The Walk. And she would always test me on my lines. And I was playing a character with a very heavy Boston accent. And she was playing my mother. And so I noticed, oh my God, she's literally doing the accent. She's entered into the character. That was her chance to create. Yeah. That's how you keep people engaged as they get older. So she's doing the Boston accent and I just start filming her as she's testing me on my lines. And I sent it to the director and he was like, who is this? I said, why? He goes, she's unbelievable. Would she play your mom?
Oh my gosh.
And I go, that is my mom. He goes, that's your mom? I go, yeah. And he goes, oh my God, she's incredible. Would she? And I was like, well, look, she's in a wheelchair. He's like, I don't care. She's incredible. So it was just really very kind of rewarding for me and her. Yeah. So we put her on a plane and she went out there and got a standing ovation, which I've done 80 movies. I've never seen that in my life.
Yeah. To get that kind of, warranted recognition, but just your mom, Joyce Piven, is nothing short of a legend, especially here in Chicago, but just in the acting world. Your father, Bern Piven, too, obviously the Piven School of Acting, which I aspired to go to when I was a child. We unfortunately didn't have the resources to get to.
You could have had a scholarship. Everyone was on scholarship. Now
Yeah, well,
yeah.
maybe 30 years a little late, but yeah.
You're never too old.
Yeah, never too old. Your dad had a quote, and please correct me if I'm misquoting this, but something to the effect of success is the ability to have choice.
Yeah.
Obviously you have several choices, and now pivoting between acting and stand up and everything you do, producing and I want to talk about the film, the performance as well, which I've heard nothing but incredible things about. We're hoping it gets released for a theatrical debut soon. But I've heard you say that that's the hardest role you've ever done.
It's the hardest role. It was also the best performance of my life because Arthur Miller, my mother gave me the short story out of the New Yorker. Yes, incredible. And the short story was unbelievable. And she said, "This is a great role for you." And she was right. Best role of my life so far. And so my sister said I would love to adapt it. And so I had her adapt it and direct it. And she did a brilliant job. And the film is incredible, exceeds my expectations. And hopefully it'll be out this year.
Yeah.
Let's go out there and give them a show.
The performance by Arthur Miller. And I had to learn how to tap dance, and that took me 10 years, and we couldn't find the money. And it's like, you said success is the ability to have choices, but sometimes in life, choices are taken away from you.
Sure.
And it's your job to then create those choices. Mm-hmm. And from that, you get stronger, and it's the best work of your life. And, there's a great old saying, life doesn't happen to you, it happens for you. So you can rail against the universe and, play the victim card, or you can just take a beat and go, okay, I know who I am. I know what I'm capable of, and I'm going to create and find my own opportunities. I'm going to pivot into stand-up, teach myself how to do stand-up, ask all the questions, and be a student. Put your ego aside. And, 3 Emmys into the game, 117 years old, and I'm handing out flyers. No, that's not a joke. I walk around.
If you're hearing this, they're actual flyers.
In my hand. I walk around and I hand out flyers. And by the way, when I hand out the flyer, the first thing people goes, no, I'm good. Hey man, what are you doing here? I go, I'm doing a show.
Yeah, you want to come?
You're here. What? Why are you? What? Honey, come here. Can we get a picture? Yeah, bro. Let's get a picture. Also, can you come to my show? So that's how I fill the houses. But is it fun to walk around malls all day? At this stage in my career.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's funny because I was watching the Knicks game last night, and there was this couple there, and I took a picture with this guy, and his girlfriend's like, "Oh, do you have any advice for me? I'm at Second City." And I said, "You're not going to want to hear it." She goes, No, I want to hear it. I go, "Well, you got to do every job that comes your way. It's all experience, and it's gonna, like Shakespeare says, the readiness is all. So if you get after it and get those reps in and do a short film, or even be an extra on a set where there's some brilliant actor, you can watch the way they work, whatever it takes, do an industrial, just work, get up in class every week." And people don't want to hear that now. They want to go, no, how do I blow up? I need to blow up tomorrow. Yeah. Is it TikTok? Is it, well.
We live in an instant gratification world.
Yeah, and by the way, listen, those are all great venues, and I need to work harder to explore those venues. And I'm a caveman, and I don't really understand algorithms and all that stuff. And that could, I'm not shitting on it. Those, there are people that put time into that, and they get their work out there, and that would be a viable place. I don't want to be handing out flyers. Mm-hmm. The crazy part is people see me, they go, "Oh my God, we didn't know you were in town." So for whatever reason, no one knows I'm in town. Yeah. And so I have to go door to door. And by the way, let's go even deeper. My father, I saw him, we would do plays and this, I'm not making this up right now. I would see him backstage on a rotary phone, literally calling people out of the phone book. Wow. To get them.
Yeah.
That's heavy.
Yeah, that's surreal, man. In the performance, you play Harold May, who decides, just how far he's willing to go for success. for lack of a better phrase, right? Looking back, through this career, is there any part of you that you compromised, maybe even momentarily or temporarily, that you wish you hadn't?
No. That's the great thing about life is you can't regret anything. Even if no matter what you do, it's an experience that will only help you to grow. I've taken, wow, okay.
It's an omen. Yeah. Whew.
That was heavy.
Yeah. There's no lights above you. We're good.
No matter what you do, it will make you stronger and inform, like, even if you're doing a role and you're like, what am I doing here? I remember, it's funny, I remember doing a sitcom and I wanted another take because I always want another take. I always think, man, I think I can do it better. Mm-hmm. And I'm a real pain in the ass. I'm one of those guys that just wants to work hard. And especially, I think in today's times where a lot of people necessarily maybe don't want to work while they're working. Think about that. Thank you. I was doing this scene and on the sitcom, and I was a regular on the show, so it wasn't like I was a day player. And I said, "Can I go again?" And they literally everyone had moved on to another set, and I was like, I think I got one, maybe two takes. I was like, "Can I get another one?" And the director goes, "No, we got to move on."
We got it.
Are we behind? He goes, "No." He goes, "I have a cooking class." I said, "I'm sorry."
A cooking.
He goes,
class.
"I have a cooking class." You have a cooking class? We're cooking right now, you stupid. Like, what the is going on? Like, literally. Yeah. And this guy was like, "Action, eh?" He was like doing this fake Italian accent. I'm like, you idiot. Like, so you have to understand, like,
he had pasta to make, man. Clearly.
He had pasta to make and apparently a viciously mediocre sitcom to make as well.
Wow.
Yeah, man, listen, I just don't want to waste anyone's time. I don't, maybe it's a problem that I have. I don't wear mediocrity well. I just feel like we're here. We have to do everything we can. Mm-hmm. Like, you're trying to hurry us through so you can get to your cooking class. Like, that's when, like, I knew, I'm not in Chicago anymore. Because in Chicago, like, and I grew up, in a theater family where we were all always in rehearsal and people made fun of us because we were always in rehearsal. And, other families, like, when you're at the dinner table with your family, your father would say, "Are you going to mow the lawn? You got to get out there. You're going to shovel the snow. Let's go." My father would be like, "Are you going to play it like that? You're really going to play it like that? Let's, you were over the top.
Yeah.
You got to bring it down, So I was getting notes at the dinner table while other kids. So yeah, that was the way I grew up, and I wouldn't trade it for anything.
Yeah. Growing up in your version of, the quote unquote circus, I was very much in an entertainment family as well. And I heard you quote something to the effect of, you didn't even realize that wasn't the norm to not grow up in a theater family until you got to later high school or even college and whatnot.
Yeah, it wasn't until I got to college that I realized, oh, wow. Yeah, because I'd always been studying with my family from 8 to 18.
Sure.
And then when I got to Drake University, my first place before NYU, we just, got up there and acting 101, 8 a.m.
Yeah.
There I was. And then I was looking around going, oh, shit, wait a minute. So, because you live in a bubble, I'm like, oh, I don't think these people grew up in the work, because it felt as it should be. A lot of people are exploring the space for the first time. Mm-hmm. And I had 10 years under my belt by the time I got to college. So, and yeah, man. And, I jumped up and played Mark Antony and Julius Caesar, like right off the bat. And, freshmen aren't allowed to be in those plays and whatever. So that was the first time that I was like, oh, and my parents were like, we think you should do this. Because they saw me do something. That was the first thing they saw me do other than work with them. Mm-hmm. And they were like, oh, okay, yeah, this is what you should do for a living. That was the first time that they gave me their okay. Because I think a lot of people think, oh, well, if you grew up in the work, your parents were, these, what are they called? Stage moms or something, that they're like, okay, you got to get out there. You got to do commercials. We're going to get you a reality show. And my parents were like, no, don't be an actor, study acting.
Yeah.
But then when they saw me do Shakespeare, they're like, oh yeah, you should do this for a living. And I was like, wow, okay, that was heavy. So that was the first time I knew I should do it. And now here I am on stage doing stand-up. See the transition, and I get to bring all that in there, and I do impersonations of Stallone doing Shakespeare, and because I studied Shakespeare at the National Theatre of Great Britain and NYU and blah blah blah, and that's my background, I can do an impression of Shakespeare, of Stallone doing Shakespeare, and literally kind of, it's weird, you have to know it before you butcher it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? In a weird way. You can't just butcher it.
Right. And and obviously you're drawing from a lot of the theater experience and whatnot, but even you just saying, you always wanted one more take. You always want to go for one more. You can't do that when you're on stage as a stand-up, right? It either works or it doesn't in that set.
For sure. But that's why you got to get up and get your reps. Like, okay, there's a million bits I want to try for this special. And it's like, okay, well, listen, man, the improv guy in me wants to like try it on the day and while I'm filming and all that. And I know myself and I probably will. But at the same time, we got Zanies here. We've got the Laugh Factory. We have all these different places where the Improv in Schaumburg, so many different places where you can just jump up and just try it and go, okay, does this work? Does this work? And you want to, people, it's funny. They think that like, these people, stand-ups are just making up the 1 hour, but that's your job to make it look like that.
Yeah.
But you gotta see if these jokes land and before you get out there and film a special.
And you asked me at the beginning of this what I thought when I saw you, and I think that would be, to bring it full circle, the first thought was, this seems effortless. This seems like it's a story that he's telling as if it's just from recollection, not practiced. Which a lot of people, hopefully, if you're doing a good job of stand-up, it doesn't seem like you're doing a bit that you've done, 1,000 times on stage. And it reads that way, man. It reads, and I think you got that a lot for Ari Gold too, which people thought that you were coming up with those lines from in the moment, but you played a character that people believe to such a degree that I'm sure they come up to you every day expecting that, right?
Yeah, and that's another thing that I unpack on stage is that people addressing me as Ari Gold and getting that energy, which can be a bit exhausting.
I can imagine.
Yeah, I'm a douchebag because of you, bro. Yeah. Hey, call my wife a rusty bucket, bro. I'm sorry, sir. We're in Temple right now. Thank you. I appreciate it. I appreciate that, Rabbi. But can we go back to see, like, I just tried that because I want to see if that works on stage.
Yeah.
I just tried it with you guys just now. See, I just used you. You guys feel used?
Yes.
No. I'm trying bits.
Yes.
I'm trying bits right now. See, okay, that works. Okay, great. Now I can, okay, that works. The rabbi thing. Okay, you put it in there. Okay. But it comes from truth. It comes from people saying that to you. I was handing out flyers in Raleigh, North Carolina. I was at a burger joint, and I got a table and I was gonna eat, and I had my flyers and I'm standing there, and the woman goes, "Excuse me, sir, can you sit down, please?" And I was like, "Sit down." Okay, great. She doesn't want me standing here. I'm just waiting for my table. So I sit down. The guy goes, "Ari, bro, Ari," and he starts yelling at me. I was like,
God.
So I stood up, and the woman goes, "Can you sit down?" So I sat down. Ari, and I stood up, and I was like, I just want a burger. I want to hand out my flyer. What's going on? And then I realized that was the same science for COVID, because when you walk into a restaurant, you have a mask and you're contagious, and then you sit down and you're not contagious anymore, and you take the mask off and you stand up and you're contagious.
It's the altitude.
Right? So yeah, well,
obviously
that's the variable is elevation.
Yes.
That's what because the science, we know the science behind that. You know what I mean? And so, I mean, like, you're down here, right? Name one midget with COVID. You can't. You can't name it because they're down there, right? We only know one midget, right? Okay, see, I'm trying bits right now.
You got to snort.
Bits.
You got to snort.
I got it. I got to snort. That means we're on to something.
Yeah.
So what I did was, can't believe I'm dissecting comedy for you right now. It's so boring. What I did was I took a story that was true, because that's my life. At any moment, I'm either the devil or, someone that people want there and want to document. They love me. So it's either love or hate. So I'm walking in, there was a homeless gentleman behind me that was standing there, but she kept yelling for me to sit down. So for me, I'm walking in. For some reason, some people think that I'm there to rob the place. Right. But then I sit down. The guy's like, "Oh my God, you're my hero." I stand up. I'm the devil. And you can't get used to either one. You know what I mean? Yeah. And we're getting very esoteric right now.
Well, let's bring it home. Jeremy Piven is doing your first film special.
Yeah, my first special
at the Vic Theater here in Chicago.
I'm more comfortable in that theater than I am in a comedy club. The hardest thing for me is, like, I always jump up like anywhere I can, a random Monday night, chocolate sundaes, and I'm the only white boy, right? By the way, I love chocolate sundaes.
My dumbass was thinking ice cream, and I'm like, what?
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, welcome Vanilla Drizzle. Thank you. Vanilla Drizzle here at Chocolate Sundays. No, I was at the NAACP Awards. I don't know if you know what that is.
I do know that.
You know what the NAACP is? I swear to God.
I have black friends.
I swear to God. So NAACP is a celebration of black excellence.
Stop laughing so hard, Jordan.
And when you think of black excellence, you think of Jeremy Piven. Said no one ever. Said no one ever. So this is a true story, by the way. This is not a bit. This is a true story. So I'm at the NAACP because I did a movie called Sweetwater where I played the coach, Joe Lapchick, who coached Sweetwater Clifton, who was the first black player in the NBA, played for the Knicks, 1950. And so we're there. We're nominated. By the way, if I won an NAACP award, this is what I was going to say. I was going to say, now that's white privilege. But I didn't win. Anyway, so
still time.
So I'm leaving, and I got an Uber. And imagine, there's only 2 white boys out of 7,000 people at the Shrine Auditorium. So there's a sea of black people. And the only other white boy is Donnie Wahlberg. So everyone thought I was Donnie Wahlberg. I was like, no, I'm not Tito Wahlberg, not the missing Wahlberg brother. Anyway, so I've got my Uber driver, and I go, where are you, my man? And he goes, I'm in the black SUV. I go, bro, there are 20,000 black SUVs. And I go, I'm in the street. I'm in the street. Can you see me? And he goes, I go, now sea of black people. I go, bro, I'm the white guy. I'm the white guy in the street. He goes, the white hat? I go, no, the white face. I've got a white, forget about the black people. Think the white guy. I'm the white guy. I'm screaming. I'm the white guy.
Forget about the black
7,000 black people. And there's a white guy go, forget about the black people. That's a true story.
Jeremy Piven, the Vic.
By the way, that's going to be the only thing that coming up next is just me going, forget about the black people. That's going to be the clip.
Yeah.
Actor Jeremy Piven has once again completely lost. Had a complete racist meltdown. Coming up next.
Oh, man. Wow.
That's going to be the name of my special. Forget about the black people.
It was the worst that could happen. Live from the Apollo. Jeremy Piven, the Vic. If you have time, 6 p.m. is sold out. 10 p.m. just added. Tickets are available now. You can get those at jeremypiven.com.
Jeremy/Piven.com.
Okay.
Yeah, you go to my Instagram and it's all there. There's link in the bio. I'm talking like I know what I'm saying. I'm such a caveman on this stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. I need help.
So the internet connects you to websites that allow people to purchase tickets.
Well, you would think, but people are just, how do I get tickets? It's my first day of life.
You got to walk Michigan Avenue, look for Jeremy with the flyers.
Yeah, you guys, if you're
or he may be in the street screaming, forget about the black people.
If you're in Chicago, look for me.
You'll find him.
You're going to see me on the street.
Well, I mean, it's a testament you're here already. It's the special's next week, you know?
Oh, I've hit the ground running.
You're home, man.
I got off the plane handing out flyers. I came out of the womb handing out flyers.
And they're like, sir, this is the Denver airport. It's a connection.
I don't care. Let's go.
Jeremy Piven, XYZ with Erik Zachary. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, guys.
Jeremy Piven.
Yay, we did it.